XRP holders, Trump just did it again. Please read the disclaimer. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money maker. So, like I said just seconds ago, Trump just did it. Trump just did it again. Oops, he did it again. Right? Friday night, Freaky Friday, Friday the 13th, we had a news come out that kind of shocked the world a little bit. But this is from the game plan. You will get to that in just a second. The crypto market sold off a little bit, but not as much as you would have thought. And this could potentially, the situation could either escalate prices of oil to the upside, maybe even to $200 per barrel, or could cool everything off and actually have oil prices tank. We'll talk about all of this and how this could affect the crypto market, how this could affect XRP. It's Saturday, so we do it a little bit slower than usual. We ease into it after Friday night. Probably you're out partying. I'm the hangover therapy, right? So let's get into it. Currently, XRP is sitting at $1.39, down minus 0.33% on the day. So as you can see, XRP, Bitcoin, crypto continues to be this kind of choppy, right? So up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit, down a little bit. And this is the current situation right now. I made a video last night about the problem, right, that we have right now in the crypto market. And so, about half of you that usually watch the morning video, watch that video. So I'll link to it at the end of this video if you missed it, so you can check that out and watch it, all together. And that it's an interesting theory of what's happening. So I'm not going to hash it out again, but right now, you can see if we're looking at the 1 hour chart here for XRP, we did get the sell on the 1348 EMA. So it will be interesting to see if the markets do pull back, because we know that weekend volatility has a tendency to have sometimes, not all the time, extreme movements that are fake movements because of the low volatility, the low, not volatility, the low volume, sorry, that there is sometimes extreme volatility in over the weekend. And then when we get to Monday morning, all of that gets either sold off or bought off. So it will be very interesting to see how the market kind of calculates the news. And this happened as we closed oil right around $100, Brent and crude around $100. So the headline was from the White House: moments ago, at my direction, the United States Central Command executed one of the most powerful bombing raids in history of the Middle East, and totally obliterated every military target in Iran's crown jewel, the Krag Island. Iran has no ability to defend anything that we want to attack. There's nothing they can do about it. And this is from President Donald J. Trump. I almost fell out of my chair there. So why is this so important? Well, the Krag Island is responsible for 90% of Iran's crude oil exports. And they did not hit any of the oil exports, right, the oil infrastructure, but only the military infrastructure on the base, right? So this is part of Trump's plan here. He keeps doing this every Friday, right? And Krang Island holds 2% of the global oil supply. In the lead up to the war, Iran was exporting as much as 3 million barrels of oil per day from the island. Trump said that the U.S. military has chosen not to wipe out the oil infrastructures on the island for now. However, President Trump also said he would consider this decision should Iran do anything to interfere with the free and safe passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran is clearly doing right now. In other words, President Trump appears to be paving the path for the destruction of oil infrastructure on one of the world's most crucial oil ports and islands. This is no coincidence. This came 2 hours after market closed on the weekend. Buckle up for a busy weekend ahead. And you can see this is the plan, right? Every single time he does this on purpose. On Friday, between the airstrikes on the nuclear sites in 2025, June 2025, October 10th, 100% China tariff, remember? And then crypto fell off a cliff. Of course, we had that whole scenario there. closure of Venezuela's airspace, the February 28th strikes on Iran, and now targeting the Krak Island. It has become clear path in President Trump's strategy. Trump will look to apply more pressure this weekend before markets open. Okay. And so this is something that keeps happening, right? He puts pressure over the weekend, he does something, then we see how the markets react. Weekend keyboard warriors freak out, right? As we saw when the conflict started, of course, and everybody thought that, crypto was going to crash and people opened short positions and they thought it was the end of the world. And yes, the markets are down. Crypto is actually holding pretty nice. Actually, you'll see in just a second, crypto is actually kind of up since then, for the most part, altcoins. Bitcoin also a little bit. We'll see in just a second. But the stock market is a little bit down. So it's a mixture of what's happening. Gold and silver a little bit down too. And this is a very interesting situation. Now, before we continue, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Now, this is an interesting take from Jim here, saying, let me offer discussion points on why they decided to do this. The administration and the military planners likely conclude that it would take weeks, if not months, to secure the Strait of Hormuz, right? They put their mines and things like that, sea mines. During that time, oil prices could rise to levels that would suffocate the global economy. This was unacceptable. They are desperate and for immediate action. So they need to do a bold, decisive move to force Iran to relent quickly. Trump was clear. They bombed Iranian military structure on Karag, but not the oil infrastructure, right? Recognizing this could freak out oil markets. They announced it on Friday, giving the markets 48 hours to digest the news. Trump also made it explicit that oil infrastructure would be next if they did not allow ships to pass freely. So he's freaking them, trying to freak them out. He says here, Jim, that it's in football terms, it's basically a Hail Mary, hoping it works. They do not have any more time on the clock. Oil markets and the world economy cannot wait weeks or months for a military to open up the strait. Furthermore, invasion political advisors suggesting that if oil price is destined to hit $200 without action, it might as well happen next week, given 6 months to bring them down before midterm elections. So there's always a political reason. Thinking into the future. It's a midterm election year, right? We don't want to lose the House. We don't want to lose the Senate. Let's do this fast. Let it hit 200, and then we can start working on releasing and doing deals, which we'll get to in just a second. So as he's argued many other posts, Trump cannot simply declare victory and taco, right? That would be worse. It would leave Iran in control of the world's economic jugular, allowing it to punish everyone by permanently holding oil at $200. So they must force Iran to relent. Again, these are just his thoughts, and I actually think that he has a point here, Jim. So we're seeing, right, that now also the U.S. is potentially going to be releasing part of the strategic reserves and expected to start reaching the market by the end of next week, according to the Trump administration. The Energy Department has requested bids for 86 million barrels, part of 172 million U.S. released and wider 400 million barrel global release coordinated by the IAE. And not only that, right, according to reports, President Trump has rejected an offer from Russia's president to move Iran's enriched uranium to Russia in a deal to end the war. And so this is something that we just learned a few days ago, that Russia potentially had some of the sanctions released on their oil in order to release the valve a little bit and release some of the pressure on that. And Russia's like, hey, we'll take the uranium, right? Hey, we're friends now, right? So in the phone call, Trump, Putin proposed moving the uranium as part of Russia to end the war and securing Iran's 450 kilograms of that uranium. Trump acknowledged this is the first time that Russia is aiding Iran in the war. The U.S. position is we need to see the uranium secured. So I don't think they would give it to them. Like that would be the last country I think Trump would allow the uranium to go to, like Russia, right? Maybe, if it was like the UK was like, okay, we'll secure it. And the US would be, okay, yeah, right, okay. But Russia, so this is all like a global game of chess that is happening right now. And it is affecting, of course, prices of oil. It's affecting, of course, potential inflation. We saw yesterday that inflation was doing okay, but that was 2 months back, a month back. And when we start getting CPI numbers in 2, 3 months, we're going to start seeing the effects of the rise of oil. And this could be a snowball. This could affect what the Fed does. And yes, we still have, I think, about 8 months with or less because time has passed already. But there's only a finite amount of time with this current Fed, and then the new Fed chairman will potentially come in there and start reducing interest rates. It seems that there's only going to be maybe one the whole year. So this is still high interest rate ecosystem, midterm election year, which historically we've talked about. It hasn't been great for the crypto market. And so this will be a very interesting, few weeks here to see how all of this plays out. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Is this, the Trump playbook and he did it again, and people are going to freak out over the weekend, and then Monday morning we're going to open up and everything's going to be okay? Or is this going to be this, suddenly a $200 oil on Monday? I don't think so, but that is a possibility. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Now, this is interesting regarding what we just talked about, how the crypto market is actually doing okay since we started the conflict. So it's been about 12, 13 days, right? So it was the end of February, right? So we had the initial sell-off, and Bitcoin dropped to 63,000, but it's all the way up to 70,000. If we look at XRP, we did dip to 127, but for the most part, right, we're stable in these. It's almost 2 weeks already, right? Yeah, it's 2 weeks to the dot, right? And Ethereum also, right? It's up since then. Like, it had the initial sell-off on the Saturday, but then it's been up, and it even got all the way to 2,200 here. So, and if we look at the stock market, right? Let's see the S&P 500, right? You can see where was the right. So we didn't have the initial day because the markets were closed, but on Monday morning, the stock market S&P 500 was at 6,800. And now it's all the way down at 6,600. Now, this not a huge drop, right? But it's still, it's down 3.64% in 2 weeks. The S&P 500, remember, gives an average of 12% per year. So 3.64% droppage is significant, right? And so Nasdaq is doing a little bit better, but it was higher when we started out. So S&P 500 is actually down more. So technology is actually doing better than the S&P 500, which is interesting, right? So we'll see how this plays out. And Mark mentions this. He says, since October 10th and the 10 a.m. slams, the crypto market cap fell from 1.7, it's Bitcoin, right, to 865 billion, not crypto market, because crypto market cap, see, he has a mistake there. Crypto market cap is still at 2.39 trillion. Bitcoin, right, is at 1.41 trillion. So I don't know what he was referencing there, but maybe he was talking about altcoin market. But something changed. Since the daily 10 a.m. slam stopped, the market has recovered 140 billion rebound in just a few weeks. Even more interesting, during the Iran conflict, crypto and oil were the only asset classes that moved higher. Stocks pulled back, silver down, gold's down. Alts are breaking out technically, and regulatory clarity is approaching. Crypto is the only asset class that hasn't gone parabolic yet out of all of them. So this, again, gives some sort of hope, right? That the market is going to react positively after all of these things are lifted. Plant B says either the stock to flow model is completely broken or Bitcoin is absurdly undervalued right now. Time will tell. Do your own research, right? A lot of people had used his I don't know if it's his priority, what's the word? Intellect, right? I don't know if this is his model that he created. I'm not sure. We can check that, but he always posts this and uses it, and the internet, is always referencing him. And you can see we never had the red dots, right? We had blue dots, and we're at blue dots again, but we never had the red dots. And so the theory is, if we never had the red dots, then we're not going to have extreme blue dots again. But is the model broken, right? It's always supposed to get to this level here and have red. So you see every single time the stair right up always hit with red dots. And we didn't get that this cycle. So now the question is it broken, right? Or is it just delayed and we see it somewhere around here and into 2027, which is a possibility. But again, we don't know if this is going to happen. Again, I'm not a time traveler, but this is what many crypto investors are looking at and saying, okay, because of this situation, because of this, the way the market is right now, because of how things are playing out geopolitically, and the Clarity Act. We talked about this, and if you watch the video that I'll link to in just a second, we talk what will happen potentially until it gets passed. But Representative French Hill says here calls for a bipartisan compromise on stablecoin regulation via the Clarity Act, the goal level playing field for bank and non-bank issuers, and to ensure the market fairness. And Chad says here we won't get Clarity Act until May at the earliest. So June is most likely coming down to the wire before summer break, just like Genius Act timeline last year. But that's it. There's no more room before the midterm election to get this done. So if this doesn't get done by April, right? April's is soon. It's in 2 weeks, right? The Clarity Act is so important for the crypto market. We've seen let's throw out October 10th and everything that happened there. But in the beginning of the year, the market was going up, right? Why? We had these 2 weeks where the market was going up. XRP was doing amazing. It was up like 20%, right? It was up here even 32% in 5 days. And then it pulled back a little bit, after it was featured on CNBC. We all thought that might be a problematic thing, right? But if we look at that date, what was the date there? January 6th. Interesting. January 6th here was also a kind of top for Bitcoin, and then it pulled back a little bit. Then we had that secondary run here, and then we had the 15th, right? So January 14th, 15th is when Coinbase pulled out, and then right, we had that big sell-off. If Coinbase wouldn't have pulled out and 50% drop there in the next 23 days, if we wouldn't have had that situation where Coinbase pulled out, where would have we been, right? Could have we potentially been back to the $3 level here for XRP if Coinbase wouldn't have pulled out? Could be, right? And so woulda, coulda, shoulda, we don't know what would have happened, but we look at the current situation in the crypto market, and again, nothing has systematically changed for the crypto market outside of maybe there was continuing selling because of October 10th and we talked about the potential of a huge market maker or an exchange that got hurt significantly on October 10th and needed to raise capital and just was doing it slowly but surely, and things kind of got unraveling there. Similar to what happened back in 2022 when FTX was unraveling and Luna was unraveling and Three Arrow Capital and others were unraveling there, Celsius. So there was that current situation. It's funny because we haven't really gotten news about a specific market maker exchange that went under. So they were able potentially to recover themselves and not completely go bankrupt, which is interesting. And so maybe it's been already 5 months. If there was someone that went bankrupt, it probably come out already. So this is interesting. We'll continue to track this, and Clarity Act is what we're looking at right now. And if Clarity Act, doesn't pass by midterm elections, there's high probability that it will never pass. If the Republicans lose the House and the Senate, could happen. Although it does seem that it is a bipartisan thing, and the Democrats do want to get it passed as well. But there's the pressure from the banks. So we'll see. It's going to be very interesting the next 6 months into this and how if it potentially passes and how the market reacts. Again, outside of the Clarity Act and the Iran situation, it's happening now. So that was a fear. Remember, that was a fear on the market, and that's passed. Now it's the everyday, and will Trump do something or not do something? And again, we went in length in the video, which I'll link to in just a second. But it's going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out. I'm still very bullish long term, But day to day, I don't know what's going to happen, and things change. If things change and, the crypto ecosystem changes, then we have to change with the times and we have to go with the flow. So it's very important to always be on your toes, and change and adapt and learn and create and move with the times. Like if trading goes AI route, then you have to go AI route. And if it does something else, yeah, right. So you have to be dynamic, you have to change. Okay. It's very, very important to not stay behind. Like, how trading used to be, had to call up your broker and tell him I want 100 shares of Apple stock, right? And then it changed into, you could do it on the computer, and then it changed, you could do it on your phone, and then so it's developing and changing, and now an AI agent can trade for you. Right? So it's times are changing and we have to change with them. Okay, don't forget to smash the like button, check out the links in the description down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out this video, I think I'm going to put it here, and what we talked about, the problem that the market has right now from a price action standpoint. I think a lot of you will enjoy it. Again, the morning video gets twice as much as the evening video. So all you morning people, the about half of you that missed out on the evening video, go check it out right now. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.